Hello, everybody. This is Dexter Kendrick. I'd like to welcome you all back to Dexter Kendrick Soul right here on YouTube. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Dexter Kendrick Soul for more relevant discussions on your horoscope and astrological forecasts right here as the world turns. So, today's conversation is going to be on the movement of Mars. We know Mars has been traveling retrograde in Sagittarius since March. And Mars, of course, is the planet of action for those who aren't as knowledgeable about the planets just yet. The planet of action. If the sun in our horoscope represents the king who sends out orders and helps us develop our life theme through our lifetime, then Mars is the soldier that goes out and gets what we want, goes out and helps us achieve what we want and fights whatever battles we have to fight so that we can establish that we're here, take it or leave it. We're not going anywhere, and we want what we came here to get. We want what we came in this life to get. Mars has been traveling through Sagittarius since March. And whenever planets come to Sagittarius, the conversation becomes one of perspective. The key word with Sagittarius is the word I see. And so we can begin to have prophetic visions about where we see ourselves headed, and not just tomorrow, not where we're going this weekend, but when we come to Sagittarius, we're discussing conversations about where we see our life headed in the next 3 years, the next 5 years, the next 10 years. We consider we've come to the mountaintop when we get to Sagittarius. The ninth house also represents long distance travels of mind and body. So the places that we go when we get perspective, what are our bodily goals? What are our mental goals, etc. Of course, it also is associated with higher education and publishing, things that will reach a mass audience from a higher level of social standing. Nonetheless, since Mars, the planet of action, has been in Sagittarius, we have been Mars has been delivering us new information about new perspectives. Of course, Sagittarius also represents differences in perspective based upon coming into contact with different ideas. Maybe we've come into contact with a possibility that previously we wouldn't have entertained because it was so foreign to us that it just wasn't something that would have entertained. But now that Mars is in Sagittarius, the conversation is going to be, we are going to be entertaining conversations that are new and different and trying something that is maybe a little left of center, because that's the essence of the exploratory facet of Sagittarius. Now that we've been given this new perspective on where we'd like to go, we've seen the mountaintop, we've seen where we'd like to go in the next 3 to 5 years, we've been delivered some kind of radical, perhaps even surprising angle on how to approach life moving forward. Now Mars has gone retrograde. We've been starting to take our power back from people, circumstances, and situations that we had been investing in because it was appropriate for a previous program. I'm going to let that sink in. Definitely go take a look at my last conversation on Mars retrograde in Sagittarius. Today's conversation is on what happens this Friday, May 27th, when Mars slips backward into Scorpio. And a lot of people know that I refer to any movement through Scorpio or the 8th house in the horoscope as hell. But I use that affectionately, and I'll tell you why in just a second. So whenever planets come into Scorpio, and definitely go to alabe.com, check out where Sagittarius lies in your chart for you, what area of life this means you're going to be having this reorganization with regard to taking your power back, and what perspective you're going to be moving in the future when it goes direct again in June. But also take a look at where Scorpio lies in your chart and see what area of life you're going to be having this different movement in, because Mars is slipping backward into Scorpio, where it will be until it will be retrograde until June 29th. Moving forward, whenever planets come to Scorpio or the 8th house, we have a conversation of shedding. We can think of the phoenix. We have to let something burn. Something has to be released in order for us to make space and make room for the new movement. So whatever mountaintop, we've been to the mountaintop, but before we can inhabit that new space, we have to go down into hell and clean house. Basically, if there are any people, circumstances, business situations, etc., ties that have not been severed completely, gray areas that would prevent your forward movement in some area, you're going to have to go backward now and make sure that you clean up any loose ends, and you're going to be planting seeds. After you demolish that that stale circumstance, whatever it may be. If it's a business, once you perhaps dissolve a previous business arrangement, or perhaps once you get your taxes and your business plan in order, you'll be prepared to move forward when Mars goes forward again in July. But right now, there's this backward movement so that you can actually go back and take care of unfinished business. Whenever planets come to Scorpio or the 8th house, it's always information and circumstances that we perhaps have swept under the carpet because we've been on the move, we've been making things happen, we've been solidifying things, but we may not have been able to deal with certain aspects of our emotional body, of our physical body. We may not have had the time or energy to deal with aspects of a more administrative or mundane nature, like taking care of registering your business as an LLC, or taxes, or relationships that have kind of fallen to the wayside but are kind of alive, kind of dead. It's time to let that stuff go. Because one of the things we say in holistic medicine is before we can actually begin to have treatment, to have forward movement in a way that is whole and that allows us to go out and claim our lives for ourselves, is that we have to clear blockages. And so the essence of this transit of Mars through Scorpio is one of cleaning house. So with that being said, Mars is still Mars, and Mars is the soldier, the henchman of the sun, the psychological aspect of ourselves that goes out and gets what we want. Right now, what we want is to clean house and to clear up space for our next movement. We've been to the mountaintop. We've seen where we're headed. Take this opportunity from many people, some of the people I do readings for. I'm also available for private practice for astrology or psychic medium readings. Please don't forget to like, share, follow me at D Kendrick Soul on Twitter, Dexter Kendrick Soul on Instagram, and Dexter Kendrick Soul on Facebook. But nonetheless, a lot of people are beginning to feel this movement backward, where we're taking our power back from certain arrangements and plans that we had, because we've been given a new perspective. And while it may not fully be developed just yet, for some of us, others of us will have a clear vision about what angle we'd like to approach life with come July, when the energy becomes right for that. And so it is appropriate at this time to begin to go backward and clean up any unfinished business. Clean house. That's the essence of Mars retrograde action in Scorpio. Now, Mars was in Scorpio earlier this year from January to March. So you can think about the work you began doing on your personal self between from January until March. There was probably a lot of things going on behind the scenes, some interesting aspects of yourself that had to be cleaned up. If there were any issues that came up that were challenging or treacherous, this is why we call it hell. But the underworld is not necessarily a bad place. It's just a place where we send information and circumstances and emotional material until we have time to deal with them. Well, the timing is right. This Friday, the movement of Mars backward into Scorpio says it's time to handle this business. It's not going to go away. And if you really want to claim, when Mars goes back to the mountaintop, if you really want to claim your territory and plant your flag, you'll take care of the business that's at hand right now. Be blessed. I'll be back next Tuesday with another forecast update for you as the world turns. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Dexter Kendrick Soul on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Message me if you need a conversation of a personal nature, available for private practice. And don't forget to check out alabe.com to see what area in your life Scorpio and Sagittarius lie in for you. Be blessed. Thank you.